I have spent the last 2 years on this channel tearing the Porsche, or Porsche 718 Cayman apart. I called it slow, and I certainly called it financially irrational. But today, I'm going to defend it to the absolute death. Because the product planners in Stuttgart just tried to execute the internal combustion Cayman and replace it with a heavy lithium-powered software pod. But the global market hit them with a brutal reality check. Electric vehicle sales are cratering. Dealer showrooms are choking on unsold inventory. And right now, deep inside the R&D center at Weissach, Porsche engineers are in a sheer state of panic. They are frantically trying to hack a physical gas engine back into an electric-only E-Core chassis that mathematically rejects internal combustion. Today, we are going to look at the structural nightmare unfolding in Germany. We are going to look at the physics of a multi-billion-dollar backpedal. Now, if you grew up with a brother, you understand the exact dynamic I have with the 982 generation Cayman. Brothers disagree. You argue over stupid things. You might even throw punches in the backyard. But that friction stays inside the house. The second an outsider tries to lay a hand on him, the rules change entirely. You step in and defend your own against the rest of the world. I have criticized this car constantly because the base model is a highly frustrating piece of hardware. For roughly $70,000, Porsche hands you a turbocharged 2-liter flat 4. It doesn't even sound like a sports car. It sounds like a struggling industrial air compressor. You can walk into a Chevy dealer, granted, I glaze the C8 all the time, I get it, but the point stands. You can walk into a Chevy dealer and buy a mid-engine C8 Corvette with a 490 horsepower LT2 V8 for the exact same amount of money. You can buy a BMW M3 with the S58 inline 6 and get catastrophic tire shredding torque. But a lack of straight line acceleration is not my actual grievance with this car. My grievance is the corporate gatekeeping. Porsche deliberately starves the chassis of mechanical grip. They refuse to bolt the forged aluminum double wishbones to the front end of the standard Cayman. They force it to rely on MacPherson struts. This is basic suspension geometry. When you enter a high-speed corner in a MacPherson setup, the outer suspension compresses. As it compresses, the top of the tire tips outward. It loses negative camber. The tire rolls over onto its sidewall, the contact patch shrinks, and you understeer toward a wall. A double wishbone setup does the exact mathematical opposite. It gains negative camber under load. It keeps the rubber completely flat against the asphalt through the entire arc of suspension travel. Porsche knows this perfectly well, because they put double wishbones on the 992 generation 911 GT3. They actively withhold them from the Cayman, strictly to protect the lap times of their rear engine flagship. It is calculated sabotage. They shoot their own mid-engine platform in the knees to protect the profit margins of the 911. So when Stuttgart announced they were moving the next generation 718 exclusively to the electric PPE Sport platform, part of me simply didn't care. The chassis was already compromised by the marketing department. But this EV mandate was never about pushing the limits of mechanical grip. It was a massive corporate gamble based on compliance. They assumed their demographic consisted of blind consumers who would finance a heavy battery pack simply because it had a gold crest glued to the hood. They miscalculated hard. The financial reality hit them like a freight train. Taycan sales dropped 50% in the first 9 months of 2024. Depreciation on these vehicles is absolute carnage. Porsche dealers are famous for their allocation extortion. They love demanding massive cash markups and forcing you to buy 3 Macan SUVs before they let you order a GT car. But that leverage evaporated. You cannot play arrogant gatekeeping games when your target demographic actively rejects your product. The market held the line. That massive loss in revenue is the only metric that forced the executive board to wake up. Because when Weissach stops sandbagging, they build terrifying machines. The GT4 RS proves exactly what this mid-engine layout is capable of. The revenue forecasters looked away, took a day off, I don't know, they weren't in the room because the engineers ripped the naturally aspirated 4-liter flat 6 out of the GT3 and they shoved it right behind the driver's skull and they let the valve train spin to 9,000 RPM. 493 horsepower, individual throttle bodies, and no heavy battery packs, no synthesized frequencies pumped through the cabin speakers. That car is a psychopath. It vibrates your internal organs, it is loud, completely unhinged, and best of all, it is violent. The carbon fiber air intakes inhale atmosphere with a mechanical shriek that demands your absolute undivided attention. Internal combustion is a physical experience, and electric vehicles, regardless of their 0 to 60 times, are commuter pods. Acceleration without mechanical consequence is clinical. When you press the pedal in an EV, you get instant torque, but there is no inertia building in a physical flywheel. There's no feedback loop between the engine and the driver. And Porsche finally realized that you cannot sell a clinical pod to a purist for 6 figures. Which brings us to the net information gain, the Weissach panic. Because the EV mandate collapsed, Porsche is hitting the emergency button. They are attempting to reverse engineer a physical gas engine back into the PPE Sport platform. This is not a simple engine swap. This is a war against structural integrity. The electric 718 uses an E-core layout, stacking the battery vertically behind the driver. It relies heavily on that massive, rigid battery casting to act as the spine of the car. When you rip that battery out to make a hollow space for a flat 6 engine and a PDK transmission, the chassis loses its backbone. It turns into an unbraced aluminum hinge, and it will physically fold under heavy cornering loads. To counter this, engineers are being forced to retroactively weld heavy steel bulkheads, floors, and cross bracing back into the tub. They are packing dense, dead weight into the exact places you desperately want a sports car to be hollow. Then you have the packaging disaster. A dedicated electric architecture puts the motors directly on the axles. It does not need the traditional mechanical routing of a gas car. Where do you route a physical high-pressure fuel line? You have to engineer it into the front crash zones that were originally meant for low-voltage wiring harnesses. How do you route an exhaust system? You have to find space for high-temperature 1200-degree exhaust pipes through an underbelly that was engineered strictly for high-voltage coolant loops. Well, how do you cool it? A high-revving internal combustion engine concentrates extreme thermal energy in one enclosed space that happens to be directly behind the driver's head. You need massive front radiators and thick ducting to keep the back from baking the firewall. But the PPE crash structure was designed around a solid front trunk, not aerodynamic airflow. They have to plasma cut new intakes into the bodywork. They are forcing a mechanical peg into a digital hole. They are actively hacking a century-old propulsion method into a chassis that was fundamentally engineered to reject it. Porsche is spending billions of dollars trying to undo a problem they manufactured entirely by themselves. So where does this leave us? Is this reverse engineered Cayman a future classic or consumer e-waste? If Porsche had stuck to their original plan and forced the EV to market, it would have been e-waste for sure. In 5 years, the battery chemistry would be obsolete, the software would lag, and the car would become a heavily depreciated brick. The internal combustion version they are frantically building right now is going to be compromised. It will be a heavy, retrofitted chassis artificially burdened by engineers trying to fix a massive strategic failure. But it will be honest. It will burn fuel and it will vibrate the steering rack. It will force you to actively manage the contact patch of the tires. The analog Cayman fought the Grim Reaper and survived. I do not hate Porsche. I'm a disappointed believer. I grew up with these cars on my wall, which makes it hurt even more to watch how disconnected their corporate strategy has become. But they learned a very expensive lesson. You cannot replace a mechanical soul with an algorithm. You cannot build a sports car brand around regulatory compliance. The combustion Cayman is staying in the fight. And the only reason it has a heartbeat is because of you, the enthusiasts, who refuse to open your wallets for the alternative. You forced their hand until the executives panicked. But this engineering panic leaves us with a massive technical question. When Weissach successfully welds those heavy structural floors back into the PPE Sport chassis in order to replace the rigidity of the battery pack, they're going to add hundreds of pounds of dead mass. If this retrofitted Cayman ends up weighing nearly 4,000 pounds, does that added weight permanently ruin the mid-engine chassis? And can a retrofitted EV actually pivot and handle like a true analog sports car? Or is the geometry already permanently compromised? Drop your engineering logic in the comments below. I read every single one of them. And as always, thanks for watching.